So Grums, you've been in the industry.
Yep.
Got quite a bit of
clout, as we say. Clout.
Yeah. What is your take on all of this? What are your thoughts in general on all of this that's been going on with this DEI writing that these companies are coming in and doing?
Oh, it's all new. It's I would say it's been highly pervasive and depressing all of my friends in gaming for the past 6 to 8 years. It's just been getting worse. I should have known something was up when one of my employees decided to report someone to HR for bringing Chick-fil-A into the office because they found it offensive.
Really?
Yeah, because
were they a chicken?
No, but
I mean, if they were a chicken, they might have a reason. Yeah, I mean,
because,
yeah, I was just saying.
because
God's chicken.
She's gay, and so she's like, this is offensive to me because
a gay
Chick-fil-A
chicken.
Well, Chick-fil-A is God's chicken, Tom.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I know.
And since then, it's just gotten tremendously worse. And
what year was this that happened?
I think it was about 9 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's when I think I first started to see what was happening. And for whatever reason, you don't see programmers do this. It doesn't come from program. You've got programming in games, and you have art and sound and writing. And from what I'm being told, a lot of this comes from the art and the writing side of things, who are educated in liberal arts colleges, right? And I think what you have here is the result of a lot of indoctrination that's been going on at universities that we've all heard about. And it's bubbled up through the system, and this is where it presents. And it's less in the hard sciences, although it's certainly there now. I think that accounts for the disparity between the different groups in gaming. And it's gotten so bad that my friends who are outright conservatives or even center, they basically work in fear. They keep their heads down and they don't say anything. And it's not enough to say nothing. Okay. You can't just be silenced because they have a saying, right? Yeah. Science is complicit, right? So they actually, you have to basically chant the mantra. In Japanese companies where the whole company goes out into the yard in the mornings and chants the company cheer. If you've ever seen those things, that's what it's kind of like now. And it's gotten really ridiculous. And, firms like Sweet Baby, there's more than them.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Whole bunch of them. There's a list that was going around. Did you see that? Of all these different like DEI, ESG companies.
But it's not just sensitivity reading, and which is what they did, and writing consultancy. It's also training. That's a big racket. DEI training firms that come in, and the HR departments have run rampant, and it's gotten worse than that. Where there's so much in gaming. This is Sweet Baby Inc. is the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip of the iceberg. There is like a gigantic mass of crap under the water that people don't see, infesting every AAA studio out there. And I've had so many people send me DMs recently. And my own friends, of course, telling me what's going on, and my jaw is just dropping.
What do you? Can I just ask you though? Before all this started, right? And you've been in the business for a while. Like, what was the atmosphere like? Like, why would this have come about? Was this like an organic thing, or do you think it was a manufactured thing?
Well, gaming changed a lot, right? It started off when there was no money, right? When Bungie, I remember buying Marathon in a Ziploc bag directly from them at Macworld Expo in Boston. We didn't do it because it was glamorous or that people liked it. In fact, when I tweet that, hey, back in the day, gamers were like bullied and harassed and nobody liked them, people don't believe me. Right? I have thousands of retweets that say you're wrong. They just didn't like you. It's like, no. Gamers were looked down upon. We all did it for passion. We did it for passion, and it happened to get big. And when it got big, we had problems because when it got big and it got popular, we not only attracted a lot of people that weren't in it for the passion, but we had to grow, right? Next gen graphics came along. We had to explode our team sizes 3, 4, 5, 10 times the size of what they used to be. I mean, we did WoW with 60 people, right?
That's
60
a lot
people.
of nerds.
You want to do WoW now, you're going to need almost 1,000 spread across 8 studios worldwide, plus contractors. So that's the difference, and that's when it really started to change. We started to staff up, and I can tell you that drama on the team really kicks in at around 50 people. After 50, you start to lose cohesion, and a lot of time is spent with managerial duties, putting out fires, tension between people, that type of stuff. You lose a lot of the fun and the coherency. And so when the money came in, you had a lot of suits come in too. And a lot of this is frankly driven by the ease of accessibility to funding. All right. You've heard about ESG, right? You've heard about these sort of like these investment funds and banks that have criteria. People don't realize this, but even Electronic Arts doesn't spend their own money to make these games. Okay. They go out, your CFO is your best friend. They go out and they finance this stuff at cheap money rates. For example, the last great economic crisis, the banking crisis, Lehman Brothers stuff. During that time, we were working on a deal with EA. They were taking bank bailout money in order to make those games because it was dirt cheap, right? It was like basically either interest-free or nearly interest-free. And you have this situation again in the past couple of years, I would say 6 years or so, where ESG funds and interest rates were low enough that that's where the cheap money is. And so you're not going to risk your own money from your games to do this. You're going to borrow a chunk of it at really cheap rates because you're going to make a lot more that way, and you're going to risk less. You're going to spread the risk, especially with the cost of games these days. So now if you need access to ESG money, what do you got to do? You got to follow the checklist. You have to check XYZ box. You have to show that you're being diverse, inclusive, everything else. And so what's the easiest way to do that? Well, you show all the things that you're doing within the company to do it. So there's, not only do you do things like hire firms like Sweet Baby Inc. to be sensitivity readers and actually change your game and gender flip or race flip characters, but you bring in even hiring. There are firms, I believe there's a couple firms in Europe, a couple firms in the US that specialize in fixing your hiring ratio, and also not just that, but your promotion and management structure. So, you've probably heard, and you haven't heard this much in gaming, but outside of gaming, you hear about, straight white males not being promoted, Google especially, right? That's coming out of Google. That's part of it. Bot. So you show all these initiatives.
We've been following this exact same thing in the entertainment industry for years. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say games maybe just a couple years behind Hollywood, right? In terms of these trends, but maybe two years, maybe 3. And so that's what's driving a lot of this. Now, of course, ESG is drying up a little bit. Some of it's being rebranded because it's a bad name now, but the returns aren't there, right? Wall Street's saying, hey, everything that we did that was ESG has been tanking on returns compared to everything else. So that helps, but it hasn't really hit gaming yet. Gaming is still in the middle of that. There are DEI departments. I just got some messages today. They're sending out multiple emails per week, lecturing and admonishing about white privilege, about cultural sensitivity, several a week. All right. I mean, I don't know, but I can't imagine. Can you ever think of when you'd ever hear from HR more than once a month in an email chain?
I think a lot of these people get drunk on power.
Yeah, several times a week. And at Blizzard, personally, I can attest that, my friends who are no longer there, they would be pulled into basically struggle sessions where they had to admit their white privilege.
Oh,
and
wow.
These were special sessions for white male developers. And this is what they had
everybody
to do.
in the company
that
was working there.
The white male
the problematic
developers.
Just the white men, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That has to be against the law.
It's all against the law. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
hey, wait, do we have a lawyer on the stream? You tell me.
I mean, here's the deal, though. You go to the EEOC, you go to anybody and say, "Oh, look, they're treating me poorly because I'm white." That phone, you're going to hear the click on the other line.
Yeah, look,
that's the problem there.
It's true.
James,
what was his name at Google? That
James
had the
Damore.
memo? James Damore, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. What happened to him? But no, these people are.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not just drunk on power. These are the people who, if this is 40K, they'd be the commissars. They would be running around praising the emperor and making sure you clap loud enough, you cheer loud enough, you pray hard enough. So these people are, a lot of them are true believers. There are some who are just completely grifting, but no, they are true believers.
Yeah, religious, the zealots.